This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
I don't even know why I'm giggling. Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. It's a freaking Wednesday, I think. It's Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday. I got new pot, so I guess this shit's pretty good. You've been following my struggles. I was trying to conserve marijuana until whatever day here at the end of the week that I could make a run. That day was today. I got a case of the giggles. MILF, good evening. DJ Dub. Devil, you were indeed first. Certainly first. So glad to see all of you. I want to upfront apologize to... Okay, so earlier today, I clipped the conversation I had. Yeah, Flash. That was the conversation I clipped and put up on the YouTube. I try to make sure that if you miss something cool, it gets clipped and put on the YouTube for you. So I try to make sure everybody's taken care of. I might be slacking on making clips as much, but if there's something really, really good, I'm going to put it on the YouTube, and I felt like that was worthy of going on YouTube. TikTok, the 1 minute TikTok version got taken down for misinformation. I have no clue what could be considered misinformation. No idea. I honestly don't. I called Trump a pedophile. That happened. But I even showed the court documents on the screen. But by the way, that dude is coping hard. When I got on Twitter and I followed him because I was looking for a picture of him on his Twitter because I wanted to use a good picture. I didn't want to make him look stupid in the thumbnail. But when I followed him on Twitter, I noticed that, like, he said he had been arguing with Democrats that were aggro. And I'm like, dude, like, yeah, my chat was making fun of you. Your chat was doing the same thing. If you think my chat was aggro, your chat was aggro. Like, do you not see how big of a fucking hypocrite you are? Like, it's just you trying to cope with the fact that I made you look fucking stupid. And I did. And the dude was the dude said, Holiday, good evening. Usually, DJ Dub, I will give you that usually, but last night I was totally calm the entire fucking time. Okay. I might have yelled a few times for them to shut the fuck up when everybody was talking. But for the most part, I was like the calmest I've ever been. Quesadilla, good evening. Everybody that was here last night, would you not agree that's the calmest you've ever seen me engage with dumb fucks? I was not yelling. Snabba, good evening. In general these days, I don't know what's happening to me. Just my old age. I might need like testosterone replacement therapy or some shit. 'Cause I'm getting old. I need a prostate exam. I need a colonoscopy. Probably low on the testosterone. Shelly, good evening. Shelly, longtime fan. Will say that I was calm, patient. I might very well get gender affirming care. I've made no bones about it that I may look into some sort of hair replacement. I would have told you when I was a teenager that I'm going to go bald. I know it because of my genetics. And I'll just deal with it. I'll go bald when I go bald. But now that it's it's here and confront. If I had the money, I'd probably do it. Adrenochrome time. Well, I like yelling at the morons. It's kind of cathartic for me. But okay, so I went back and I clipped the discussion that I had with what the fuck was his name? Pentuple. And as I was watching it, I noticed that the chat was getting very upset with me because you guys made great points. Several of you that are not even in here yet, but like you made great points, but I wasn't paying attention to chat. I was in the zone, and I could see that you guys are kind of upset. Justin, please ask him this. I'm sorry. I apologize. Dabba, I'm glad you came back with us. I would love to pick your brain more about your, I guess we won't call it flat Earth, but non-spherical Earth beliefs. I'm fucking into it. I want to hear more. I've got my buddy Dave. He would love to talk to you. Mitochondria, good evening. This is the future that cats want. Not cute, like, I can't describe it. Like he had a more robust description of it than just flat Earth. I'm not high enough for this. This is the future I want. The cat, I mean, basically that's what happens at my house. The cats lord over me. Cockhead JD Vance. You gotta admit, his eyeliner game is on point. I, for one, welcome our cat overlords. What are we gonna be talking about tonight? Jam-packed show. We're gonna talk about the still ongoing pandemic of COVID and the possible future pandemic of what is now being called Mpox. Ilhan Omar fucking trounces her opponent in the primary. Here I was being all worried last night. Apparently Trump is going to be upset with his new campaign game plan. This is according to former campaign staffer Stephanie Grisham. The Teamsters have slammed Donald Trump. UCLA can't let protesters block students from accessing the campus. This is important as we get ready to head back to school. And pro-Gaza, pro-Palestine protests are sure to once again erupt on college campuses. Scientists are shocked at a new Stonehenge discovery. The Museum of Ice Cream has been sued. An MLB owner has been accused of stealing sand from a beach. An arsonist tried to set fire to a business and set himself on fire, and there's video. Fortunately, there was a fire in an adult theater in California. A man drove himself into a strip club in Tampa. Got video of a man assaulting a kid in an In-N-Out, but I need to know what the kid did. He might have deserved it. Our hero, or at least one of my heroes here on stream, you shouldn't ever have heroes, but this man, totally an American hero. His name is Chris Dorner, military veteran, served honorably, but that's not the reason he's a hero. The reason he's a hero is because he tried to expose corruption in the LAPD. And when they retaliated against him, he took justice into his own hands. He created multiple good cops. Because there's only one good kind of cop. Chris Dorner, unfortunately, is no longer with us, but technically, since he was a cop, also a good cop. You're part of the Chris Dorner Appreciation Society here on this stream. His gun That happened like fucking 17 years ago, 18, something like over 15 years ago, I'm pretty sure. It would have been the end of the 2000s, I think, when Chris Dorner went on his rampage. His gun was found on a robbery suspect. Got wild video of toddlers on the freeway after being ejected in a crash. A Kansas cop was charged in the raid that we covered last year that had an old lady yelling at the cops. A 17-year-old girl was charged in a killing. A West Virginia state senator has been charged for having his tallywhacker out and apparently beating it in a public place.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
2013, is that what you said? 2013? Is that when Chris Dorner went on his rampage? So, 12 years. 12 years. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Good evening. Let me get high and we will get to it. I'm sorry. I made you the promise we'd get to the news by 10 after. A little long-winded tonight. My apologies. Light one up, tip one back if you do partake. News is going to require you to be a little inebriated. Because it's not looking good, especially we're coming out of the Olympics. I'm assuming the Olympics is going to be like ground zero for a new COVID variant. Perhaps a monkeypox outbreak, because we know how they like to fuck in the Olympic villages. Those motherfuckers live in sexual anarchy.
You live in sexual anarchy?
We're going to go to the World Health Organization, the Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus.
Mpox has been reported in the Democratic Republic of the Congo for more than a decade, and the number of cases reported each year has increased steadily over that period. Last year, reported cases increased significantly, and already the number of cases reported so far this year has exceeded last year's total, with more than 14,000 cases and 524 deaths. Today, the emergency committee met and advised me that, in its view, the situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern. I have accepted that advice. The detection and rapid spread of a new clade of Mpox in eastern DRC, its detection in neighboring countries that had not previously reported Mpox, and the potential for further spread within Africa and beyond is very worrying. In addition to other outbreaks of other clades of Mpox in other parts of Africa, it's clear that a coordinated international response is essential to stop these outbreaks and save lives.
Now, Mpox is predominantly spread through sexual contact. I would advise everyone to not hook up with people. It is currently spreading in multiple countries. The Director General of the World Health Organization failed to mention that, especially in Canada. I know I've got a couple of Canadian peeps in the chat right now. It doesn't have to be sexual contact to spread it, but you have to be in really close contact. It's skin-to-skin contact, and that's why sexual contact is the most common way to spread it. I would recommend not hooking up with strangers at the moment if you're into that sort of thing. And I am, but I'm not really doing that sort of thing anymore anyway. Getting old. You might also, if you are highly sexually active, you might want to consider going and getting a Monkey, stop dancing in the club. Club dancing, probably not a good thing. Also, it's likely to spread at festivals. And as we're entering the fall, going to be a lot of festivals going on. That's the sort of thing where you can get monkeypox, especially outdoor festival where you're not wearing a lot of clothes. You're all sweaty and you're packed in there. Justin, good evening. You quit your weekly. Okay, so with your cheerleading squad, you're in contact with those people often. Your worry is being in contact with people that you're not in contact with often. So I think you're pretty good with your cheer squad, unless somebody on your cheer squad is going out and having promiscuous sex. You're right, GJ Dub. It would be nice if we had a public health apparatus that was fully funded and had the brightest minds in the world working for it. All those sweaty women. The sweat dropped down my balls. Over half of U.S. states are right now reporting very high levels of COVID activity. The worry with COVID is that the more it spreads uncontrolled, the more likely it is to mutate into something that might be more deadly, more virulent. It is a minute possibility, but the more it spreads, the more likely that minute possibility is.
More than half of U.S. states are reporting very high levels of COVID activity. That's according to the CDC's latest wastewater data, which shows that another 17 states are reporting high levels. We're joined now by medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel. Good to see you, my friend. Always good to have you on. Dr. Patel, so
I think I'm going to this year.
COVID surge.
DeMarco, it's a multitude of.
I skipped flu shot, COVID shot last year. Wasn't really around anybody until December when I got COVID. It was dumb on me to skip it last year. I'm probably not going to skip it this year because it is probably going to hit us all hard.
Different factors. Like, first of all, you have to take into account human behavior. During the hot summer months, people tend to go to events. They're gathering. We're also traveling a lot. And this is in the face of a highly contagious, mutating virus. Add all that together with the fact that people may not be getting tested as much. They don't actually think they have COVID-19. That's a setup for a summer surge. In fact, we've had a summer surge every single year since COVID-19 came around early 2020.
So what could this mean for students and teachers as they start?
Lord, good evening.
I mean, some schools have already started.
Some schools have actually started, and I think one thing that we can all unify behind is it's got to be a priority to keep kids safe and keep schools open. Not only is that the best place for kids to be in terms of their development and education, it's also a great place for resources, safety, food, the list goes on. So what parents need to know is, first of all, be aware that COVID-19 and other infectious diseases might be around, might get your kids sick. You want to make sure that we're following basic hygiene, including hand washing, teaching kids to cover their mouth if they're sneezing or coughing. But DeMarco, I think the most important thing, the PSA of this conversation is that if you or your child or anyone is feeling sick, that it's okay and it's encouraged to stay
We got to
home.
stop this dead in its tracks.
Parents, we also have to make sure that the workplace, nationally, we're having this conversation that enables people to be able to stay home away from work if they're sick or if they need to take care of a loved one.
That is the best advice. Stay home and don't try to get anyone else sick. All right, Dr. Alok Patel.
There's a little problem with that, you fuckers. You guys are probably well paid with sick days and health insurance. There's a little barrier to access for those things with people in the United States. You know, not a country, I didn't even think about it. I don't think I have insurance right now. I think where I moved from states, I don't, so it just kept signing me up for the Obamacare thing. I went to go sign up for a plan, whatever year it was, and it was like going to cost me like $300 a month. And I'm like, well, fuck this. And I just didn't sign up for one, but somehow still had a plan, still had insurance. They sent me a card. But now I live in a different state. I don't know that I have that card anymore. Had insurance last year, had the card for last year. Don't have one this year, don't think. Might be insured somehow, but not sure. Produce the perfect virus breeding machine. I think they know that. I think parents are aware of that, like, even pre-COVID. Parents were well aware that kids are the perfect virus breeding machine. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about some politics. Let's get some good news, shall we? Ilhan Omar easily won her primary.
Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar from Minnesota has won her primary. It was her second victory over former Minneapolis City Council member Don Samuels.
Oh, Fish, good evening.
15 percentage points. She just narrowly beat Samuels in the last election. Omar is the latest member of the progressive group of politicians known as the Squad to face a political challenge, and some see this race as a test for the progressive wing within the Democratic Party. In another closely watched race out of Wisconsin, businessman Eric Hovde easily won the state's Republican state primary. The race is a key target for both Democrats and Republicans in November because of its potential impact on the balance of power in the Senate. Let's bring in CBS News political reporter Hunter Woodall. So, Hunter, let's start in Minnesota. Why did
he's the crazy one, isn't he?
This time?
It's been a fascinating contest and, inverse for Representative Omar this cycle. You had in 2022, as you mentioned, Representative Omar narrowly won her Democratic primary over Don Samuels by just under 2,500 votes. This time around, Representative Omar did away with any idea that she was not taking this challenge seriously. There was some concern in 2022 that, she wasn't really, running a contest, wasn't, talking about her challenger that much. This time around, her campaign spent, a considerable amount of money to make sure that she...
Oh, Lady B, I didn't see you
out there. And also,
show a cat. It didn't pop up.
Showed, while she's still a progressive leader, she not quite...
Do you have one you want
some policy
specifically?
Show, being in Congress, being on Capitol Hill, she's learned how to work with her Democratic colleagues who often she breaks from, in a more liberal sense.
There's a Maynard right here.
Former NBA basketball player Royce White will face Democratic Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar in November after winning the state's GOP primary. We talked about it yesterday, but what can you tell us about this race?
This is a contest, to be clear, Royce White will be going up against Democratic Senator incumbent Amy Klobuchar. Klobuchar often easily wins her Senate contest. This is not a race that Republicans, in a national sense, are expecting to win. But I will note, Royce White's main challenger in this GOP primary put out a statement last night. This is challenger Joe Frazier, and he said, I'm reading now, our party's embrace of an unelectable candidate, it's been thwarted. He just is calling Royce White unelectable. There's been concerns about Mr. White's, links to the conspiracy theorists within the GOP. He's obviously very much in that vein of the party, but also past concerns about campaign finance, campaign spending. And in a race where Donald Trump really does want to try and win Minnesota.
Lexical stress. Good evening.
Being the Senate candidate may not help him win that contest.
I don't have a lot of time left with you, but
that was Maynard James Kitten, and he was really not happy I picked him up. Very, very upset. He is not a friendly cat. It has taken him 5 years to get to where, like, he lays on me. He lets me pet him and shit. 5 fucking years.
But I did want to ask you about the Wisconsin Senate race with Eric Hovde and Tammy Baldwin. What are you watching in that matchup?
That is a contest that really could have a massive implication for what happens in the presidential election. Wisconsin, home to 10 electoral votes. Both Trump and Harris want to win that state. And that Senate seat, though, is also key to Democrats trying to maintain the control of the Senate. Now, Republicans are rallying behind Hovde. He's gotten support from, national party leaders. And that's a race where if you see Hovde, surging and starting to do well, Democrats really could be at risk of not only losing the Senate majority, but losing quite a few seats in the Senate.
Okay, Hunter Woodall, thank you.
He looks like the KKK.
In spending, the primary race that
Klobuchar in
positions, he had an approach that showed while she.
There we go. There's Hovde. That's what the KKK looks like. Spotify. Trump should be stopped. It's up to everybody to not just vote, You know, if you feel so compelled, I would prefer you do it for your local races, but feel free to canvass, knock on doors, phone bank. I'm more focused on local politics. Yes, welcome in, Spot. Good evening. I agree Trump is part of the problem, but it's the Republicans up and down the ballot. Flash, that's a great idea. Absolutely. If any of you, especially in the states where he is still like on a red state, that he is still like is Florida. Is he on the ballot in Florida? He might actually take enough from Trump. And Harris internal polling is saying that Florida might be in play. Florida hasn't been in play since like fucking 2008, 2004. It's absurd at this point. Speaking of Florida, let's do this story about a Florida man. Next aide says Trump won't be happy with reported new campaign strategy. Stephanie Grisham predicted that Donald Trump would adhere to the plan for maybe a week. Stephanie Grisham, a former press secretary in Donald Trump's White House, said the GOP presidential nominee will struggle to keep to a reported plan for a campaign reset as Democratic rival Kamala Harris surges in popularity. Trump's campaign aides have discussed holding smaller messaging events or mini rallies where Trump can speak about specific issues like the economy, according to the Bulwark reporter Mark Caputo. It's part of a push by Trump's team to curate his public appearances and encourage him to stay on message and be more policy focused. There is no policy. There's no fucking policy. I imagine he will do some of them, and maybe for a week he'll, attempt to stay on message. It depends on how tough his staff is being with him, but he will get bored. He doesn't like those small events. He never has, and he will be demanding to do a large rally sooner rather than later. They want him to be a fake version of himself. Donald Trump is a bombastic narcissist, and he loves attention. Looking back on her time working for Trump, Grisham predicted that his 2024 campaign aides will struggle to rein in the former president. He is not going to be happy, being quiet or being on message. It's not who he is, and so they all know that. We did it in 2016. We did it throughout our time in the White House. We were all trying to keep him on message. Everybody was frustrated all the time. I like the subversive idea. If you're in a red state, campaign for RFK. I might just do that. I might do it on stream. Would you guys like it if I phone bank for RFK on... That's good content. I'm gonna look into it. We might phone bank for RFK on stream. The Teamsters are slamming fucking Trumpy boy.
Trail, Trump continues to feel the heat following comments he made about supporting companies for firing workers who go on strike during his conversation with Elon Musk. One labor union leader...
That's a good question, Dustin.
...now calling the threat economic terrorism in a statement to Politico. Let's bring in contributing political correspondent and co-author of Politico's Playbook, Rachel Bade. Rachel, good to see you again. So the Teamsters president may be lashing out on Trump, but he stopped short of a Harris endorsement. How significant is this, and how is Trump responding?
Okay, Flash, what did Xander do? What was the Xander demon? I have no idea. What the fuck was all that bullshit? Somebody explain it to me in simple terms. I had my beef, but it wasn't really with Zan. It was with his editor. His editor was a fucking dick to me. I gotta know. Oh, well, that's fucking stupid. Yeah, he deserves to be like mocked for that. Was Cherry was the editor I had the beef with. Now I feel bad if he was treating Cherry like crap. Damn, that's some shady shit. All streamers suck, and that includes me. There's very well things you guys might find out about me. Make your fucking skin crawl. Who fucking knows? I'd like to think I've lived a pretty righteous life. Oh shit, I have to listen to Paradigm Shift song. I fucking love Paradigm Shift. Somebody give Paradigm Shift a shout out. Show some love to my homie. All right. Back to that news. Teamsters slammed Trump on union comments.
Trump continues to feel the heat following comments he made about supporting companies for firing workers who go on strike during his conversation with Elon Musk. One labor union leader who had Trump's back now calling the threat economic terrorism in a statement to Politico. Let's bring in contributing political correspondent and co-author of Politico's Playbook, Rachel Bade. Rachel, good to see you again. So the Teamsters president may be lashing out on Trump, but he stopped short of a Harris endorsement. How significant is this, and how is Trump responding?
Look, the damage here very much is already done. I mean, yes, the Teamsters didn't support Harris or endorse her after this, but think about it. Just a couple of weeks ago, the Teamsters leader, Sean O'Brien,
was at the RNC.
He was praising Donald Trump from the convention stage, calling him a, quote, tough SOB. And yet, a couple weeks later, after this remark earlier this week, he is now equating what Donald Trump said to Elon Musk to economic terrorism. Basically, this notion that people who go on strike should perhaps be fired. So this is not a
to what, MILF?
For Donald Trump. I mean, he has been working overtime to sort of reach out to these unions. He knows that in order to win these sort of Rust Belt states, places like Michigan and Wisconsin, he needs blue-collar workers. He needs them to turn out and support him. A lot of these folks are part of the unions. And this group in particular, the Teamsters, they were one of the few last...
Oh, hell yeah. I would definitely check that out.
Wanted their endorsement. And right now, about 1.3 million, I should say, members are getting ready to vote on who they want to back.
Okay, once again, I don't think it's a bad thing that Sean O'Brien went to the RNC. My problem is that he went there and kissed ass. If he had went and been adversarial, that's fucking different. I think it's good if the Republican Party is trying to court the votes of workers. But you don't just go in and fucking kiss their asses.
As president, I think these comments certainly make that not impossible, but perhaps more unlikely, DeMarco.
Rachel, I want to get your take on this.
Seven heavy.
Share, of course, sources share with ABC News that details of a visit Trump made to the Teamsters headquarters earlier this year, first reported by ABC News, by the way, which sources say was an effort to woo meeting attendees with labor-friendly views and a promise of political access. That's if the Teamsters went on to endorse him. So what are you hearing from your sources about?
I think Batman is an insult.
Yeah, DeMarco, a great scoop.
Rich piece of shit.
Our colleague Max Son here at ABC, who has new details about this January meeting. As you said, it happened at their headquarters with Donald Trump.
I've come around. There's like memes that go around. It's like if Batman or if Bruce Wayne had just paid his taxes, maybe Gotham wouldn't have been in the shape that it was. It would have had the social services to meet the needs of the people, and there wouldn't be rampant crime on the streets. Fuck Bruce Wayne. Fuck Batman. Spider-Man, much better. Spotty. Thank you, still.
Trump, and excuse me as I look down at my notes here about some of these great details he has. He says, in the Teamsters Quarterly magazine, which obviously comes out 4 times a year, people who were at this meeting said that Trump offered a, quote, seat at the table in return for this endorsement. Basically, if they back him, they're going to have more access to him in a second Trump administration to shape policy. Trump also praised union contracts, according to our colleague Max Zahn, and said collective bargaining has protected workers amid inflation challenges. Now, this is all noteworthy because the Republican Party.
Oh, that's fucking cool. I hope your kids had a great time.
And Donald Trump has very much tried to soften that. But as Max also notes in his story, Donald Trump himself, when he was president, he did take a number of policy positions that were contrary to unions and actually that unions did not like. So we should also mention that this is not the first time we've seen reporting about Donald Trump making various promises to different groups if they were to give him support for his reelection. He did the unions and actually that.
Is this wrong of me? I would kind of like to know more about this Secret Service agent over here.
Unions did not like. So we should also mention that this is not the first time we've seen reporting about Donald Trump making various promises.
I'd try to get her number.
If they were to give him support for his reelection. He did this with business leaders here in Washington. You just had a segment where you talked on tax on tips or getting rid of the taxes on tips. This is very much aimed at voters in Nevada, who he needs to win that state. And a lot of them.
There needs to be a cap on that.
From tips. And so obviously this is politics.
Like up to like $100,000.
But the sort of blatant horse trading here is sometimes a shock to people, including ourselves who cover politics, DeMarco.
You're right about that. 2 to 3 times this week. That's good for me. Just good to see you, Rachel. We appreciate it. Rachel Beta.
Thank you, Rachel. Great reporting. I don't know much about comic books or superhero characters. That's why when we were naming superpowers last night, I blanked. I've played, because my buddy is really into superheroes. So, like, I've played Injustice with him. I've played, Mortal Kombat with him. So, like, I should have been able to fucking name a fucking superpower pretty easily. But I could not. I don't think about superheroes, like, ever. I enjoy, but like Spider-Man is probably my favorite. I've enjoyed all the Spider-Man movies that I've watched. I've watched like all the newer ones. Into the Spider-Verse, amazing, fantastic. Oh, I haven't watched the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. And then I've watched all the, with Zendaya and her man. Like, I really like that one. I've played the Spider-Man game for PlayStation and Miles Morales. Enjoyed both of those. I will totally pick up Spider-Man 2 when it's on sale. Curiouser, good evening. How is it only? I was like, I'll hit the commercial while I'm talking. It's only 8:38. How is it that like it feels like I've been on forever right now? Time has gone by so slow. In terms of super, like I've seen Deadpool. I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the rest of them. I really liked the new Suicide Squad, and I watched the other Suicide Squad, and I thought, like, if it had been edited differently, I thought it could have been really good. Because I liked it. It had a lot to like about it, but, like, it was a mess. Oh, cliffhanger. Well, I mean, build suspense. I'm okay with cliffhangers. I need to watch Deadpool 2, and then I can watch Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, for years. Oh, that sucks. And what else? So I got really pissed off at when Batman vs Superman was getting ready to come out. I was wanting to get myself hyped up for it. So I watched Man of Steel. I hadn't seen Man of Steel. It came out like 3 or 4 years before that. And I really enjoyed Man of Steel. So, like, I'm super hyped for Batman vs. Superman. Hated that movie. Oh, my God, I hated that movie. Why'd you say that name? Fuck you, Ben Affleck. fuck you. Like, oh man, he made a good Bruce Wayne, but he made a fucking piss poor goddamn Batman. And I hate that movie. And I hate the last Nolan Batman. I love Christopher Nolan, one of my favorite directors. I hate the Bane Batman. Don't get it, like, because in the Bane Batman, Bane is not the villain. The Whole is the antagonist. That is the thing that Batman has to or Bruce Wayne has to overcome, is the Whole. Not Bane. Once he gets out of the hole, he just punches Bane right in his face. The whole thing's fucking over. The whole cool setup of them taking over the city and shit. God, I hated that fucking movie. Sorry, you guys, I'm gonna hit I'm more upset right now than any time arguing with the dumb fucks last night. Talking about, what is it, Dark Knight Rises? Is that the third one? Love Batman Begins. The hole that always gets you in trouble. Well, I mean, the punch thing, like, that in and of itself is not bad. But just the fact that it was the hole was the thing that, and like, he's down in the hole, he broke his back, and blah, 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 and he's got to go through all this, like, internal fucking bullshit. I see what Nolan was going for, but, like, it did not, no. And I've watched video essays about it and seen him give interviews and him talk about how they wanted to, you know, explore that the villains were always the main characters. You know, Liam Neeson in Batman Begins. But also the Scarecrow, the dude that played Scarecrow was excellent. I forget his name. And then, like, you know, the Joker is really he's the star of the second one. They really wanted to explore Bruce Wayne as a character. Okay, I get that. Oh, that movie just sucks so bad. Not what anybody wants in a Batman movie. Tom Hardy did a good job as Bane. And I really like Tom, especially after I watched Mad Max. Holy shit. And I had a buddy, I was working at a TV station. And I was like, well, should I watch the new Mad Max? He's like, oh, dude, that Mad Max is one of the best movies in like the last 20 years. I'm like, no way. And then I go and watch, I'm like, holy shit, this movie is excellent. It really was that fucking good. Tom Hardy was excellent in it. Got me off track again. Are my graphics not showing up? You hit the weed. Did it not do the weed thing? Everything's turned on. I might have to, it's possible that I have to log back into everything. Cause, okay, when I got suspended from Twitch for the year I was gone, like it does away with your password, and it gives you like a temporary password that's this fucking long. And when I got my Twitch back, I went to go reset the password, but like I didn't have my phone because like I've got a new number. I've got like I needed to like redo a lot of things. I wanted to do it all at once. And I didn't have my phone turned on at that time. So it was just like a deal that I've just had that long-ass fucking temporary password. Well, I reset it like 2 days ago. Yeah, on like Sunday. I think it was. And when I did that, it said it kills all your stream keys and all your shit and signs you out. But like, it allowed me to check things, and it said like it would sign back into them. And the trigger fire and the stream elements, that was one of them. So I don't fucking know. The guy spray painting himself silver is great. Fucking, I love that movie. I need to watch it again, to be honest with you, because I've only seen it the one time. So that was 2016, 2017. I was telling Sparkles. Sparkles was trying to give me advice on like what I need to do for my memory. Change my diet and have a routine. I have no fucking memory. So give it a couple years and it's like watching a movie for the first time. I've thought about it. I really have. I need to for multiple reasons. Yeah, DJ Dub, something like that happened. And I'll need to go and sign back into those. Maybe I'll do that right now while you guys watch about the UCLA protesters.
UCLA to prevent discrimination against Jewish
Josephus, good evening.
A lawsuit alleged they were blocked from entering parts of the campus during pro-Palestinian protest. KTLA 5's Corinne Winter live now in Westwood with more on what the ruling means for the university and the students.
Glenn and Lou, a really quiet morning here on campus. Of course, with spring break, there aren't a lot of students out, but nonetheless, yes, a huge ruling today by that federal judge on those protests that drew massive crowds and also headlines, those headlines that follow. This involves the pro-Palestinian demonstrations, heated demonstrations here at UCLA this past spring. That's when Jewish students were reportedly blocked from entering classrooms on campus, the library, and also other locations. There was a lot of outcry when this occurred. That federal judge categorized the university's handling of these large-scale demonstrations as, quote, unimaginable and also abhorrent. U.S. District Judge Mark Scarsi issued a temporary injunction ordering UCLA to make changes such as preventing alleged anti-Semitic zones on campus, like the encampments that were set up in April that allegedly hindered the ability of Jewish students to access parts of campus. This reportedly is the first ruling ever here in the U.S. against an academic institution. The judge also detailing in that ruling UCLA fortified those encampment zones.
There we go. Hey.
Metal barriers while taking no concrete steps to ensure safe passage for its Jewish students. UCLA, for its part, argued that this exclusion of some students was engineered by third-party protesters. The same judge previously requested that UCLA create a plan to stop discriminatory actions from occurring here on campus. Some Jewish students, they expressed a lot of concern that their educational experience has been greatly impacted by these campus restrictions, and they asked the court to provide relief with equal access and treatment so they can safely return to campus for the upcoming school year. And take a look at this. UCLA released a statement saying that it is committed to fostering a campus culture where everyone feels welcome and free from intimidation, discrimination, and harassment. The district court's ruling would improperly
Good evening.
Our ability to respond to events on the ground and meet the needs of the brewing community. We're closely reviewing the judge's ruling and considering all our options moving forward. As for that injunction, it should take effect tomorrow. On Thursday, UCLA is expected to appeal this decision. That's the very latest here at UCLA. I'm Corinne Winter. We'll send it back to you now in the studio.
I kind of missed that because I was doing the on-screen graphics thing. What the fuck? Protesters shouldn't be allowed to block students. But like, I'm sure they're not blocking them on the basis of them being Jewish. Libtards, you say. What's up, Tilgen? How are you, my friend? Light one up, tip one back. Yeah, I don't understand what the issue was. But that's my fault for not paying attention to the story. I'll look into it later. We go to West Virginia, where this state senator is getting ready to be removed from the Senate. You're never gonna guess why.
But first, West Virginia State Senator Michael J. Maroney was arrested this evening and charged with 2 misdemeanors. Thank you for joining us for 7 News at 11. I'm Stephen Moore.
And I'm Bailey Martin. Those charges are indecent exposure and disorderly conduct. Marshall County Prosecutor Joe Canestraro tells 7 News that sometime this afternoon, a criminal complaint was filed against Maroney concerning an incident that occurred on Sunday at a gaming parlor in Glendale, where he was accused of performing an overt act of self-gratification. That complaint was then filed by Chief Ed Vogler of the Glendale Police Department, and Maroney was booked at the Northern Regional Jail around 6:30 p.m. Tuesday evening.
Stemmed out of an investigation that began on Sunday, August 4th, around 12 o'clock noon, 12:30 p.m., wherein the Glendale Police Department received a call from 2 female employees at a local gaming parlor about a man that was committing a overt act of sexual gratification in the gaming parlor. Chief Vogler responded to that location and found Michael Maroney in the gaming room alone, and was identified by the females as the person that they saw on the surveillance video.
Disorderly conduct
live in
carries
sexual
a potential
anarchy?
sentence of 24 hours in jail and up to $100 fine. Indecent exposure carries up to 1 year in jail and up to a $500 fine. Maroney's a member of the Republican Party representing District 2. He first took office in 2016 and was re-elected in 2020. He lost in the Republican primary in 2024. His current term in the West Virginia legislature will expire on December 1st. This is a developing story, so stay with 7 News for updates.
Well, said something about him being removed. Oh, he's been removed from his committees. West Virginia State Senator removed from Senate committees after being arrested for indecent exposure. Above all, I am deeply concerned for our friend and colleague, Senator Mike Maroney. The facts that have emerged are troubling and I am disappointed. However, in this time, our primary focus is on the well-being of Senator Maroney. To give him appropriate time to dedicate to his personal issues, I removed him as chairman of the Senate Committee on Health and Human Resources. He was on the Committee for Health and Human Resources, out here jacking himself in public, and relieved him of all other committee responsibilities. Like all citizens, Senator Maroney is entitled to full due process as this matter works its way through the legal system. We join in prayer for our friend Mike. Fair enough, it wasn't out. Well, that's a public area. No other information. Moved from his committees. Needs to be slapped in the titties. Ha 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 ha.
A titty slap! Give me those titties,
Come on now.
Media Winch, I'm gonna make a music video for your song. I'm gonna make a video for it. Put it on my YouTube. Is that okay? Do I have your permission to make a video for the song? I might use it as my trailer on YouTube and Twitch. That might be. Do I have your permission to use it as my YouTube and Twitch trailer? And make a video for it. And I'm gonna do it I'm gonna put the credits like a music video. You know, credit you as the artist, and then like Echoplex Media 2024. Echoplex Media boo. F1 in the Lad. What in the fuck kind of a name is that? But thank you for the recommendation on the best viewers. F1 in the Lad. That sounds sexual. It sounds almost child predatory. Because most people would assume that a lad is like a young man. Finn the Lad. Sounds like he's effing one in the Lad. What is wrong with me? I'm horrible. But yes, I will almost certainly make a music video for that song, then use it as my YouTube trailer and Twitch trailer. Okay, we're getting to the crime porn portion of the story of the stream, and I got a lot of it. Give us 30 minutes if you don't want the toddlers ejected in a crash. Pretty bad. There's video of the toddlers on the street after the crash. Couple of different cop beatings, cop death. Yeah, we got a lot of horrible stuff coming up. So about 30 minutes probably, if you don't want to do the crime porn section of the show. If you want to come back for the bullshit portion of the show, that's kind of how it goes. We've got like top story, politics, crime porn, bullshit. That's the usual layout. Sometimes, if the top story is something crime related, the crime section gets put at the top. The crime porn gets at the top. And then we go down through politics and bullshit. That's usually the layout of the show. I actually have a format. A 17-year-old girl was charged with 29 counts after she shot another girl who was 14 years old. And I believe this has happened in Colorado.
We have some developing news this afternoon. A 17-year-old is being charged in the death of a shooting of another teen. 14-year-old Kamaya Cleveland was killed at a park in Aurora last month near Tower, Mississippi. Kamaya's family tells 9 News they were sitting in the back seat of a friend's car when someone shot her. 2 other people were hurt. The teen charged in the shooting was already in custody on an unrelated case. She is facing 29 charges, including murder. Her next court appearance.
God damn.
30th.
Damn. She already got a hella record. We got multiple stories coming out of Ohio involving the police. First one. An Ohio man's death in police custody has been ruled a homicide. We have the body cam footage.
Body cam video released by Canton Police shows the last few moments of Frank Tyson's life on April 18th. Canton Police are apprehending Tyson after a series of events led to his arrest. Some of his last words in this 35-minute and 40-second video were, "I can't breathe." After his last words, it shows at least a 5-minute period where he's laying motionless.
Oh my God!
Before police check for a pulse. And now, the Stark County Coroner's Office ruling his death a homicide. According to the death certificate 3 News obtained, there are 2 causes of death. The immediate cause is cardiopulmonary arrest in association with physical altercation and prone restraint. According to the death certificate, this happened within minutes. The second cause of death has to do with underlying conditions, which the coroner's office lists as ischemic cardiovascular disease and acute intoxication by cocaine and ethanol. On the line where the death certificate says to describe how injury occurred, the document reads, during arrest.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
Shut up, Lester. I wasn't even expecting it. Also in Ohio, body cam video has been released and is apparently very bad. An Ohio police officer has been arraigned on murder charges from a 2023 shooting of a pregnant woman.
1 full year since the horrific killing. What's your reaction to Grubb's plea here?
So, DeMarco, it's difficult to watch. I think it's going to be really difficult to decide by a jury as well. So he's been charged up with numerous counts, and to take into account how many different theories they have on this. So that's the Ohio law. So there's an enormous amount of counts on him right now. And this is what it's going to come down to. Were his actions reasonable after being struck by
I just got tired of seeing Lester.
Officers?
It was just organically
shows the officer
telling Lester to shut up.
He was being struck by the car. And that's something that they're going to have to decide. Was that reasonable? Or secondly, was it accidental? Fired one round. After being struck, he might have compressed the trigger on that. I don't know. That'll go forward when we figure this thing out.
He looks like a piece of shit.
Service. So he's had some time on the job. He's not new to it. But when you look at these things, we teach officers in law enforcement not to shoot at a moving vehicle.
A pregnant woman.
If you're gonna be struck by it, then that's a different story, which she was. This is such a terrible crime, and I should say terrible instance, that it's going to take a tough time for this jury to figure out exactly where they want to go with this, because this is really bad.
And again, this is breaking news. We are waiting to learn the plea of that officer there. Bob Grubb's attorneys say he approached Young on suspicion she was shoplifting and that he was forced to shoot her because she was using her vehicle as a weapon. Based on what we saw in body cam video, is there anything that leads you to believe that this was justified?
Well, I will tell you, it's tactics aside, and those are not tactics that I would employ as a police officer. You don't get in front of a car. And it will come out, should he have withdrawn his weapon as well. And that's jurisdictional, what their rules are. So when you see this, I believe at this point that this was not purposeful. This was just a split-second thing. So that's the way I think this will go, is if the jury believes this was something that not normally done. It's a horrible instance. This is a misdemeanor. It should have never gotten this far.
And we've seen situations like that play out across the country, Bob. So how should officers approach these types of scenarios where suspects are seeming to not comply?
So the verbal commands usually carry the day, which they were doing. However, you want to engage in de-escalation at this point. And the officers began to do that. He had verbal commands, just step out of the car, ma'am. I heard him say that several times, his partner. There was a vehicle nearby, you could have blocked it at that point. So this is all second guessing. This is done every day, making arrests like this. So that's what you want to do. You want to de-escalate, put her at ease to get out of the car, which she didn't want to do. That's what probably would have saved the day here. But things happen for different reasons.
He has pleaded not guilty to the charges just in the last couple of hours.
Woman has pleaded not guilty.
Police officer who shot and killed a pregnant woman has pleaded not guilty.
That's right. Blendon Township Police Officer Connor Grubb is facing multiple charges, including murder. Body camera shows Grubb confronting 21-year-old Takaya Young in her car.
Pregnant woman.
August. Young was accused of shoplifting. Grubb shoots Young when she started to drive toward him. In court today, Grubb's lawyers argued for a low bond, saying that he has no criminal history. A judge set Grubb's bond at $250,000.
I doubt he's actually going to get convicted because she hit him with the car. I'm pretty sure it's going to be hard for a jury to convict him. I would, but I just, like most normies, I guess, probably not convict him. Cop in Arkansas has been charged after a video of him beating the fuck out of somebody in the backseat of a cruiser came out.
Now to an update on a story we first told you about over the weekend. The Jonesboro Police Department releasing video of a beating that cost an officer his job. And we must warn you, the footage is hard to look at.
Hold on. God damn!
Officer Joseph Harris, who was fired Friday after beating an inmate in the back of his patrol car.
He's to be charged.
What happened after that suspect, Billy Lee Corum, tried to choke himself with a seatbelt. Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott has turned over the video and other evidence to prosecutors. He
Just to
also
protect
says
him.
He reached out to the FBI and is urging the state to decertify Harris to prevent him from getting another job in law enforcement.
Oh, they still had the video playing in the background. That was wild. Last year, we watched a police force raid a newspaper and the home of the newspaper's publisher. She was like a 90-year-old woman. She died just a couple of days later, but she gave the police what for. The former Kansas police chief has been charged with obstruction in that newspaper raid. Former Kansas police chief who led a raid last year on a weekly newspaper has been charged with felony obstruction of justice. Accused of persuading a potential witness to withhold information from authorities when they later investigated his conduct. The single charge against former Marion Police Chief Gideon Cody, what a fucking name, alleges that he knowingly or intentionally influenced the witness to withhold information on the day of the raid of the Marion County Record and the home of its publisher or sometime within the following 6 days. The charge was filed Monday in State District Court in Marion County and is not more specific about Cody's alleged conduct. The raid sparked a national debate about press freedom focused on Marion, a town of about 1,900 people set among rolling prairie hills about 150 miles southwest of Kansas City, Missouri. Also, newspaper publisher Eric Meyer's mother, who co-owned the newspaper and lived with him, died the next day of a heart attack, and he blames the stress of the raid. Meyer said last week that authorities appear to be making Cody the fall guy for the raid when numerous officials were involved. He said Tuesday that suspects in the criminal case ultimately will be resolved through a plea bargain so that Cody will not have a trial that will be that would more fully disclose details about the raid. We're just being basic journalists here, he said. We want the whole story. We don't want part of it. A report from two special prosecutors last week referenced text messages between Cody and a local business owner after the raid. The business owner has said that Cody asked her to delete text messages between them, fearing people could get the wrong idea about their relationship, which she said was professional and platonic. I drove through Kansas once, and it stunk. It smelled like shit. The Associated Press left a message seeking comment at a possible cell phone number for Cody, and it was not immediately returned Tuesday. Attorneys representing Cody in a federal lawsuit over the raid are not representing him in the criminal case and did not immediately know who was representing him. If we had the video, we would totally watch it right now. Let me pull it up. we will totally take this opportunity to watch that old lady give them what for. Joan Meyer.
Video released today.
No, I want the raw shit. I want the raw fucking video.
Oh, yeah!
Mode 77.7. What's my... You don't ask me my age.
Video released today
weird.
showing part of the raid inside Marion County Record co-owner Joanne Meyer's home. Her son and newspaper publisher Eric Meyer released a portion of that video today. Jacob Albrock continues our team coverage with what that shows. Jacob?
They're probably gonna censor it too.
Shows the search from a camera inside.
He cusses them out. I want the real deal.
August 11th. That's the same day police also raided the Record's newsroom and the home of Marion's vice mayor. Joanne Meyer died just 24 hours after the raid, and her son Eric says the anger and anxiety from this experience directly contributed to her death. The video shows her defiant as officers search her home.
Goddamn right it does.
Oh, God. Get out of my house. You're pet patrol. Get out. Stand outside. You can stand outside that door and still see in it. I don't want you in my house. I don't want you. You do not take that. What?
So the portion of the video you're seeing here is about an hour and a half. It's about 1.5 hours into the police being there. Eric Meyer says it's one of 82 captured on her home security cameras. At the start, you can hear her asking her smart speaker.
Okay, let's hope this is the unedited.
Right?
Yes.
Calling Eric Meyer.
Don't you touch any of that stuff.
Ma'am. You're wasting your breath.
This is my house.
You're wasting your breath. Ma'am, get out of
And
here.
you
We'll be out of here pretty quick.
get them out of here. They're here. You done. Your mother loved you. You love your mother. Police chief. You're the chief. Oh, God. Get out of my house. You're pet patrol. Get out. Stand outside. You can stand outside that door and still see in it. I don't want you in my house. I don't want you. You do not take that. What?
We're not going to log this car. That's a business cost for Elder House.
What?
Legal message after.
Is there another one downstairs, another computer?
Thank you.
We never went down there, and he stayed up here the whole time.
Well, that was
Right.
yeah. What's he doing over there going through the papers?
How many computers do you have in the house, ma'am?
I'm not going to tell you. Get out of my way.
It's all right.
I want to see what they're doing.
Well, they're working.
I don't care what they're
So you
doing.
can go on through if you want.
What are you doing? Those are personal papers.
Ma'am, those aren't papers, they're electronic devices, which is what the judge said that we're supposed to take. Okay?
You people.
You piece of shit. That one was edited. When we originally did the story, this happened a year ago. I played the unedited video. Kanye, Snicks, good evening. Mr. Balls, good evening. So that was a raid that happened at a Kansas newspaper. That was the publisher of the newspaper. She founded it and was I think she was still listed as the owner, and her son ran it. and the police raided it because they had dirt on the police chief. So the former chief has now been charged with obstruction. Or no, it was the mayor, and they were covering up for the mayor or some shit. It was just about a DUI or something that the mayor had. Yeah, it was some bullshit. And the cops did that shit. She died the next day. I wish I had the unedited, because, like, she cusses them out. It was amazing. But, yeah, we had the update about the police chief being charged with obstruction. I think it was in a different fucking case. Okay, this one you might not like. This might be hard to watch. A wreck happened on a freeway, and some toddlers were ejected from the car. This is the aftermath.
On the East Freeway, 2 small children here in diapers wandering around the wreckage of a violent rollover crash.
Unbelievable images there. ABC 13's Jessica Willie spoke to the man who shot this video. And while, Jess, you, Eric, and I are all parents, I have a baby in diapers as we speak, so this really just rattles my heart, really. How are those babies doing tonight?
Erica, we are still waiting for an update on their condition. So tonight, all we know is that they remain hospitalized here in the medical center. The 2 children, ages 1 and 4, and their father were rushed here after the crash. The sheriff's office says their father has been released tonight. And while this all may have been just an accident, he could face charges.
What?
It's shocking to see that.
The unbelievable aftermath of a crash on I-10. 2 young children wearing only diapers sitting in the middle of crashed debris.
The dad was running towards
They are stirring here, but initially Victor Cordova,
I saw the little kids laying on the ground.
Feared the worst.
I thought they were actually they passed away. I thought they were dead.
It was Sunday evening around 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I guess they wouldn't get slung out if they were in a car seat.
Victor was driving home. Traffic had slowed and then parted, incredibly missing the children. Harris County Sheriff's deputies responded to the 2-car crash, the impact flipping the Jeep the children were in and then sending them flying. Their father, 25.
MILF has multiple children. Thank goodness babies are rubbery as fuck. You don't say that if you only have 1 child. If you've got multiple, then babies are rubbery as fuck. I've learned this.
5 years old, according to the sheriff's office. Running back to them, Victor was relieved.
Saw them kind of getting up and moving and trying to get up.
You got backups.
As far as that, but I knew there was still some injuries.
The sheriff's office tells ABC 13 the investigation is not complete, but the father could face criminal charges for not restraining his children.
Crawl out of the Jeep.
Old geezer.
A father himself shared his video.
For parents and for everybody, even if it's a short distance, to awareness of make sure you secure your kids properly.
And his thoughts are with this family.
Prayers to them to make sure they get well.
Jessica Willie, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Damn. Wild video. Guess I probably should have had this with the cop stuff. This is my favorite cop that's ever lived, ever. His name is Christopher Donner. Apparently it was 2013 when he went on a rampage against the LAPD. He himself was a cop who was trying to expose corruption in the LAPD, but the LAPD, being corrupt, retaliated against him. Why am I mentioning Chris Dorner? Which you can get a t-shirt from the Freak Store, the Chris Dorner Appreciation Society. Because his gun was found on a robbery suspect.
Now at 11, $1 million watch heist in Beverly Hills taking a shocking SoCal twist. How does a gun linked to notorious cop killer Christopher Dorner turn up in the Airbnb belonging to a pair of alleged crime tourists more than a decade later?
Crime tourists.
Several questions investigators are working to answer tonight. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter live now with the details on this crazy connection. Leanne.
Mark, that's right. Shocking and bizarre twist in the case.
Well, what's Celine Dion doing here?
Members of a South American crime ring accused of robberies all across the country. They ended up finding 2 of them, but they also found they had in their possession a gun registered to former LAPD officer and killer Christopher Dorner. Police swarm an LA neighborhood in search of brazen burglars who are part of an alleged crime tourism ring. The suspects wanted for stealing a $1 million watch from a man at gunpoint in Beverly Hills and targeting another victim for a $30,000 Rolex days earlier. Federal authorities arresting 2 South American nationals seen fleeing the crime scene, a 21-year-old from Colombia and a 19-year-old from Venezuela.
Both of the individuals who are in custody now are both from South American countries, have no status in the United States, and yet we're operating in this larger group, committing these armed robberies, both here and we suspect in other states as well.
During the search of the robbery crew's Airbnb, officers making a shocking discovery: a loaded handgun registered to former LAPD officer Christopher Dorner.
And they didn't know.
One of the most notorious criminals in California history.
We were very surprised to find out about that gun, and
one of the greatest American heroes
into these defendants' possession.
Back in 2013, Dorner murdered 4 people and wounded 3 others in a deadly rampage before taking his own life during a fiery standoff with police in the San Bernardino Mountains.
Why did they say it like that? 4 people? 4 specific cops? They really are dancing around the story, aren't they?
According to the criminal complaint, one of the suspects was seen outside their Airbnb with Dorner's gun in his hand. The suspect's accused of using the weapon last week to rob a man of his $1 million Patek Philippe watch, similar to this, as he was sitting with his wife and 2 daughters on the patio of a busy restaurant at the Beverly Wilshire.
They seemed to be hunting him for at least a couple of weeks to steal this watch. And as we've alleged, the first victim appeared to be more of a crime of opportunity while they were trying to locate the $1 million watch.
Authorities now working on tracking down more members of the crime ring and trying to figure out how Dorner's weapon ended up in the hands of the thieves.
We're trying to figure out where all this weapon could have been prior to these defendants getting a hold of it, and we're glad it's now off the streets as well.
Yes, so many questions connected to this case. As for those 2 suspects, they're now both facing numerous felony charges, being held without bail.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown.
Hey, Mark Brown.
ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel.
You know, Mark, I think, yeah, I'm subscribed. I think why not unsubscribe? Because you told me to. Stillcation's all I ever wanted. Well, perhaps these motherfuckers here in L.A. were going on a stillcation when they robbed. I don't even know if it's the same people. Different people might have robbed 2 different pharmacies.
Police are investigating another round of burglaries this morning. 2 more pharmacies in the area were hit.
I like more.
Jaysha Patel talked to the owner of one of those pharmacies, and she joins us live from Beverly Hills this morning. Good morning, Jaysha.
Jaysha.
Good morning, Giovanna and Phil.
Jaysha.
That's right. 2 pharmacies were hit early this morning, one in Lenox and one here in Beverly Hills. And we spoke to the owners of one of those pharmacies. He expressed how frustrated he was about the break-ins and all the damage that's left behind. You're looking at surveillance video at LAX Pharmacy in Lenox. Around 2:10 this morning on Lenox Boulevard, it appears like 5 suspects pull up to the pharmacy. 4 of them look like they're using a tool to break in and then ransack the place. The sheriff's station says the suspects were in a white vehicle. The owner of LAX Pharmacy did not want to show his face on camera, but he says this is the 2nd time they've had a break-in and tells Eyewitness News the suspects took codeine cough syrups.
That's all?
They just cause havoc when they come in. The systems are...
Motherfuckers, if you're going to break into a pharmacy, you better steal more than just codeine cough syrup. Are you fucking kidding me? You take everything on the shelf that is an opioid or a benzo, you stupid fucks.
Broken, the windows are broken, the gates are broken, all that stuff takes away from running a small business.
This morning, 13 miles away from LAX Pharmacy, a second break.
It's just some stupid teens.
Pharmacy 90210 in Beverly Hills around 2:45 this morning on Wilshire Boulevard. Beverly Hills police say a witness made the call when the break-in was happening. Beverly Hills police say they don't know if the suspects made it inside or if anything was taken. There were 4 to 5 suspects that fled in a white Dodge Durango Hellcat.
The vehicle fled
same people.
Beverly Hills at a high rate of speed. We lost visual of the vehicle. We asked for LAPD air unit to check the area. The LAPD air unit observed
the
vehicle at a high rate of speed, black.
They went to a whole other pharmacy to try to get more codeine cough syrup and left behind the score that they had. Is that what that vehicle was? Is this the same people? Because we saw... Is that a Hellcat? I just can't believe they left behind so much money. I'm just flabbergasted.
This morning, 13 miles away from LAX Pharmacy, a second break-in happened at Pharmacy 90210 in Beverly Hills around 2:45 this morning on Wilshire Boulevard. Beverly Hills police say a witness made the call when the break-in was happening. Beverly Hills police say they don't know if the suspects made it inside or if anything was taken. There were 4 to 5 suspects that fled in a white Dodge Durango Hellcat.
The vehicle fled the city of Beverly Hills at a high rate of speed.
They just wanted codeine cough syrup.
Vehicle. We asked for.
I believe that's what it is, Flash.
To check the area. The LAPD air unit observed a vehicle at a high rate of speed, black.
Walter, this cop makes your willy hard.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
You know, kink shame.
Out on the 10 freeway eastbound.
The suspects were chased down to Imperial Highway and Wilmington Avenue. 4 to 5 suspects got out of the car and ran. One suspect was eventually arrested, an 18-year-old man from the city of LA. The other suspects got away. Beverly Hills police say the white Durango was stolen from the Topanga area some time ago. The suspects have used the car multiple times to burglarize pharmacies. Police say they're looking into the possibility that both pharmacies were hit by the same suspects this morning.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more
Hey, Mark.
ABC7 content.
I did not get recommended the Chase, Flash. Because you kind of know I would if it happened. I bookmark every chase that comes my way. Also, I'm trying to get... My buddy, he called me earlier. And he was like, I was hoping we were going to get some cowboy shit going last night. And I was like, well, man, I had biggest MAGA streamer on Twitch get my Discord. We had a whole little argument, and it was like 11:30 before I got off. I made tacos. It's midnight. So he's like, well, let's tentatively plan on doing cowboy shit tonight. So I'm going to try to get off of here and do cowboy shit. We still got some news to go. We got news and bullshit. This next one is video of a man assaulting a kid in an In-N-Out burger. In Loveland.
Jerome, bro.
Jerome.
Jerome.
Apologize. You don't treat a lady that way.
Say sorry. Doesn't matter. Say sorry. Say sorry.
Well, this kid should have beat his ass. What the fuck was that?
Jerome, bro.
God damn.
Apologize. You don't treat a lady that way.
Treat a lady?
Say sorry.
Maybe she wasn't much of a lady, sir. Man's been arrested and is accused of... Oh, here we go.
A 55-year-old Colorado man caught on video putting his hands around a teenage...
Fuck.
A 55-year-old Colorado man caught on video putting his hands around a teenage boy's neck. The video recorded at the Loveland In-N-Out 10 days ago, August 4th. It shows Lucas Kalischer grabbing the teen by the neck and throwing him to the ground. Police say just before that, teens were horsing around with some water and some of it was splashed on Kalischer's wife. According to witnesses, the teen went to apologize but was then confronted by Kalischer. Now he's been charged with felony assault for strangulation and misdemeanor child abuse.
He should.
Kalischer was arrested and placed under a...
And you know what? He should have to apologize.
Kalischer was arrested and placed under a $75,000 bond. There is...
Good. Good. I hope he learned his fucking lesson. Walter, this is a degenerate society, and you know what? I don't think I'd have it any other way. I like my degenerate society. Apparently this man doesn't like degeneracy very much because he drove his car into a fucking strip club. Boo on this man. These women are just trying to entertain you.
First here at 5, a man is expected to face murder charges, among others, after police say he intentionally rammed his semi into a group of people at a strip club in Tampa, killing one man, injuring 2 others.
What?
It happened this morning at Emperor's Gentlemen's Club after the suspect had been kicked out. Fox 13's Kylie Jones joining us live now from Tampa Police Headquarters with the latest. Kylie, just a wild scene here.
Well, yeah, Chris, an intentional violent attack is how Tampa police describe this crash, and police believe it all stemmed from a fight that none of the victims were believed to be originally involved in.
Jesus!
Police describe what they call a chaotic scene early Tuesday morning.
This was a semi-tractor that was intentionally rammed at a group of individuals.
It escalated from an alleged fight inside Emperor's Gentlemen's Club on East Adamo Drive.
After an altercation at the club, a 25-year-old white male subject exited the club, got into a vehicle.
Tampa police say that man lied in wait for that person he got into a fight with to leave the club.
When that person exited the club, he accelerated his vehicle toward a group of people.
Investigators say the man plowed the cab of a semi-truck straight towards the entrance, crashing into the building, killing an innocent bystander and seriously injuring 2 other men.
My understanding is that individual who was in the altercation with the suspect initially was not struck by the vehicle.
Police say at least
Plowed.
people were in the path of this semi-truck cab who also could have been hurt.
The fact that somebody has to lose their life over a minor altercation inside of a club, and now somebody else is, facing the rest of their life in prison, it's very sobering and a very unfortunate incident.
Investigators are still trying to figure out how that suspect got access to that truck and whether or not it belongs to him.
Yeah, it wasn't his rig.
Treated at the hospital, but is expected to face several charges, including murder and attempted murder. Chris.
Kylie Jones live for us at Tampa Police Headquarters. Thank you, Kylie.
You live in sexual anarchy?
It wasn't his rig. He just went out and got in somebody's random semi. Hopefully, arson was not involved when a adult theater in L.A. caught fire. This happened in not L.A., in Orange County. This was earlier today.
Investigators are working to determine the cause of a fire at an adult entertainment theater in Anaheim. The fire was first reported just after 5 a.m. this morning on the 1200 block of South State College Boulevard. The fire grew to 4 alarms, and firefighters are still working to get it under control.
Oh my God.
We are told part of the building collapsed. No injuries have been reported.
Oh man, rest in peace. Hottest videos are, God damn it. You guys are so funny tonight. I don't want to see our adult entertainment complexes get mowed down by semi-trucks or burned down by arsonists. Hell yeah, MILF. That's awesome. Hopefully it can rebuild. But it looks like that building is done for. It's probably condemned and will be completely demolished. An arsonist at this beauty shop, the barbershop. Arsonists at this barbershop tried to make sure that this building was completely demolished, and hilarity ensued.
Instant karma. An arsonist set himself on fire while destroying a business. Police in Australia released surveillance video taken on July 6th in the hopes that someone will recognize the duo of suspects. Video shows they arrived at the barber shop on bicycles wearing helmets. After struggling with the door, one of the suspects beat the glass of the front door with a hammer. That person made enough of an opening for the second person to crawl inside. The empty barber chairs seemed to be the only witness to the suspect deliberately dumping fuel all over the counter and floor. But the cameras caught
got a bad
from
cut?
multiple angles. Lighting the place on fire didn't go the way this person planned. A small lighter ignited rags hanging from the gas can's nozzle. But the flare-up set both the barbershop and the suspected arsonist alight. With flames on his jacket, the person squeezed out of the broken glass door. He then employed the stop, drop, and roll technique to quell the fire. Both suspects took off on their bikes. It's been 6 weeks, and police are still looking for them.
Well, fuck.
For Inside Edition Digital, I'm TC Newman.
Possibly, Flash. I don't know how it works over there in Australia, you know? That was a nice looking barbershop. Let's bring it back over here to the United States. Over to my neck of the woods, actually. This is near where I went to college. Called Boone's Lake in East Tennessee. Also a wild story that probably needs a content warning.
Johnson City woman faces several charges after police say she drove her car into Boone Lake this weekend while her toddler was inside that vehicle.
I've seen this one before. I think it was called Susan Smith. It happened in like North Carolina, not far from where this happened. Maybe South Carolina. It was one of those crack-a-lackies back in the 90s.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Sarah Diamond.
And I'm Casey Marler. Investigators say bystanders helped ensure that no life was lost in the incident. 21-year-old Kalina Young faces multiple charges, including attempted first-degree murder, felony reckless endangerment, and driving under the influence.
Investigators say they responded to a vehicle crash with injuries along Oak Grove Road. They learned a vehicle was submerged and a child was possibly trapped inside. Witnesses had brought the child and Young to safety. News Channel 11's Clarice Shaley spoke with witnesses to find out what they say happened and how they say they intervened.
An emergency situation where community members knew they needed to act fast. And many of them telling me today they're just happy that the mom and her child are alive.
My wife said there's a baby, and I just
Went numb and jumped in the water to get the baby.
Chris Patrick jumping into action to save Kalina Young's toddler, not even knowing how to swim himself.
Get that baby, hurry up, Chris, please.
I seen the baby's eyes, so when I grabbed the baby, I squeezed the stomach, got her up a little bit, and water came out.
Brian Dollar got a call from his daughter swimming close by. He injured his hand trying to get into the sinking car to see if anyone else was stuck inside.
I wasn't getting the window open, so I had to get in somehow. So I just tried to climb in the front and feel around the best I could. And we made sure there was nobody else in the car.
She was up there between that growth of stuff and that other dock air whenever I finally went to go get her.
Sean Hilbert helped bring Young out of the water.
The lady was so frantic, all she was saying was, my baby, my baby, my baby, my baby.
Young was taken into custody and faces attempted first-degree murder, among other charges. All agreed the situation turned out better than it could have.
I just think there was probably a lot on her, more than what she could handle, and she thought the easy way out was that way, but maybe she'll get help. She'll get help. She'll get better.
In Johnson City, Clarice Shaley, News Channel 11.
Fucking wow!
Made her first court appearance this afternoon. Her toddler is under the watch of a family member.
Jono-Vision, thank you for being a freaking follower. Welcome into the fold, my friend. What a wild story, but that's what we do here. We cover the most absurd news, politics, and current events on the internet. It's time for the lurker shout out of the day. King Burrito, thank you for lurking. We're going to show some lurker love. Glad to have you here, my friend. You don't have to say anything. Just showing some love. Continue lurking. An MLB team owner has been accused of stealing sand. Stealing sand.
A billionaire businessman in Malibu is being sued for allegedly stealing sand. A lawsuit filed by a neighbor accuses Mark Atanasio of using excavators to relocate sand from Broad Beach to his house as part of a construction project. Atanasio is the owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. The lawsuit also says the construction project has restricted public beach access and exposed marine life to hazardous waste. Atanasio's lawyer argues his client's construction company has been compliant with all of its permits.
Yeah, fuck that dude. Also, I guess everybody got commercials. So we will hold off just a couple minutes before we do the story about the Museum of Ice Cream. Did I just say that? Did I just say the Museum of Ice Cream? You goddamn right I did. The Museum of Ice Cream. I need to pack another bong. Portland, good evening. Wonder if he had sand in his vagina. Rich motherfuckers always feel entitled to things. I run into it doing fucking freelance work. It's the rich motherfuckers that do the freelance work. They want to pay you very little. Especially somebody that like has tried to do it themselves. They're a real working man's man or woman or other. They're happy to pay you. It's so wild. Fair enough, not a country. They didn't get rich by sharing their wealth. I guess that is part of it. They are stingy bitches. Ow, god damn it! Fucking fuck! Sorry, I somehow slipped and like kicked my shin and hit it on my desk and like, ow, right in the shin. I am sorry for yelling. My apologies. I hope nice lady upstairs is not worried about me. And I don't know if her kid is, because her kid's like a toddler now, right? And I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. Because it's got long hair, but it could be a boy. I don't know. The clothes are kind of neutral that I always see the kid wearing, so I don't fucking know. So like I always like try to use, you know, non-gender conforming pronouns. Like, oh, they've gotten so big. But like that also, it feels a little clunky sometimes. Like I should know the gender of the kid, I guess. But that's also weird. Why do we change our language depending on like what's in the pants of a child? It's so fucking weird. Sorry, complete rant. But anyway, I like to give the kid a high five when I see him out. And then, like, go the fuck away. Like, get the fuck away from me, because I hate kids. We should use gender neutral by default. You're absolutely correct. What kind of baby human you got there? Also, she's kind of cute, so... But I've never had an easy time trying to talk to people. Does this sound so fucking racist of me? Like when there's a language barrier, like I'm real like innuendo and jokey jokes and shit like that doesn't work, right? That doesn't translate. So I have not. You have to be direct with people when English is not their first language, right? Like unless they've been here for a while and they're really accustomed to it, but like you have to learn to not use like idioms and trying to go on dates with a Chinese girl taught me that, like, wow, I depend a lot on turns of phrases, analogies, metaphors, idioms. I ran into, it was like running into a brick wall for somebody who is a communications person. And looking back on it now, I should have just been like, do you want to stay the night and watch cartoons with me? Joey, good evening. Yeah, you want to be accommodating for somebody, but like, that's one of those things that you don't know until you encounter it. That you don't realize how much you depend on colloquial phrases and shit. By the way, that's one of my favorite scenes from Archer, where he is the pirate king, and he keeps wanting the dude they had like working as a slave for him to translate. Brilliant. He's like, do you even know what an idiom is? It's a colloquial metaphor. Fucking Archer is on top of things. I just really liked that girl, and I'm sad that, like, it didn't work out. And I'm still friends with her on Facebook, and I still kind of crush on her. She travels the world. She's like a doctor or something now. King Burrito, good evening. Welcome. We all love burritos around here. I would love to have a Chinese person make some real Chinese food for me. Because I've always heard that American Chinese food isn't like real Chinese food. So I'd like to try some real Chinese food. I want to try some real goddamn Indian food. Maybe what you're really in the mood for right now is some ice cream. It is late in the evening, so maybe you'd like to have a little sweet snack. The Museum of Ice Cream has been sued over its sprinkle pool.
The sprinkle pool at the Museum of Ice Cream is now at the center of a lawsuit.
A father is claiming he was injured earlier this year when he jumped in. Christy Kalishian has the story from Soho.
Was it for kids?
It's not quite like jumping into a ball pit. The Museum of Ice Cream's sprinkle pool has a harder landing.
I saw a couple kids land pretty hard, so I'd be surprised if an adult would jump in there.
But that's what happened back in late March, according to a lawsuit filed by Jeremy Shore, who says he got hurt in that sprinkle pool when jumping in earlier this year, while at the museum's Soho location with his daughter. The complaint cites an ankle fracture and, quote, severe and permanent personal injuries to his right leg, ankle, and other parts of his body.
I don't think I'm on his side on this one.
You should have seen that it's not that deep, so you should like put your foot in first at least and see it's like not that deep.
It's like this deep. You don't do that.
The pool here seems to be at about...
Yes, I am glad that every single person is agreeing with me. Nope, that was just him being dumb as fuck. He shouldn't have done that. Everybody's in agreement in the chat as well. God, and like everybody they asked at the museum's like, yeah, that was stupid of him.
Location with his daughter. The complaint cites an ankle fracture and, quote, severe and permanent personal injuries to his right leg, ankle, and other parts of his body, saying he needs surgery.
You should have seen that it's not that deep, so you should like put your foot in first at least and see it's like not that deep.
It's like,
God damn, she's smart.
the pool here seems to be at about ankle, maybe mid-calf for a little kid. And they are hollow. They're these little thin plastic sprinkles here. Videos of other people jumping off the nearby diving boards were also included in the complaint, like this one where this woman says she sprained her leg and needed crutches, and another showing a woman falling flat in a cannonball.
Ooh!
Highlighting a lack of proper warnings about the risks of jumping in and how the museum has advertised the sprinkle pool as a place to plunge in. Before entering the pool, patrons are told to take their shoes off. They're also told by this sign here, across from the little cubbies, not to run and not
no diving,
as well as not to eat the spring.
It doesn't say to jump in.
For that, so maybe no cannonballs either.
Patrons do sign a waiver in order to get into the museum, acknowledging the risk of injury and even death.
You gotta be responsible for your own actions, I think.
Sure, his attorney and the museum have declined to comment. At the Museum of Ice Cream in Soho, Christy Kalishian, CBS News, New York.
I like Snicks's idea. You just make it deeper, but then you got to have a lot of those sprinkles. I don't know. There may be logistics problems. They may not have the real estate for it. Is it still a dive? I think a dive implies that you go head first. I'm not sure. And I'm just being pedantic about that. Parsing words. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily... especially head first, but isn't defined by being head first. The meaning of dive is to plunge into the water intentionally, especially head first. So that leaves open for interpretation. I take back what I said still. Okay, Oxford says to plunge headfirst into water. But the second definition is plunge steeply downward through the air. Dive from dictionary.com means to cause, to plunge, submerge, or descend, to insert quickly. See, there's multiple definitions. It depends, like we had like 2 different definitions from 4 different from 4. I like learning things like this. I'm a nerd. Damn it, Media Winch. Horny Jill for you. I'm a nerd about this, but also because of my bad memory, I'm never going to remember we had this conversation. I won't remember that there are multiple uses of the word dive or multiple different varying definitions of the word dive. I'd rather get stoned. Stonehenge. Scientists are apparently shocked at a new Stonehenge discovery.
Now, a new analysis shows that the 6-ton iconic altar stone at the heart of Stonehenge originated from northeastern Scotland rather than southwest Wales. The discovery shows that its construction was a far greater collaborative effort than scientists believe. Here's our science correspondent, Palab Ghosh.
It's one of the most famous prehistoric monuments in the world.
To be honest, I was hoping for aliens. That's kind of cool, but it's not really, mind-blowing.
And also one of the most mysterious. Why was Stonehenge built in southwest England 5,000 years ago? And what was it used for? What we do know is that the giant outer stones are probably sourced locally from England. The inner blue stones are from Wales. And we now know that the central altar stone is from northeastern Scotland and not from Wales as once thought. The irony is that the discovery was made by a young Welshman. He still remembers being brought to the site as a 1-year-old in 1992.
I remember coming with my dad and being on his shoulders and looking over at the stones. So it's nice to kind of come full circle and make this discovery at somewhere so special to me.
You're a proud Welshman and you've taken the Welsh status away from the stone. So how do you think it'll go down in Wales?
Yeah, I'm not sure they'll ever talk to me again. It's a loss for Wales, no doubt, but Wales has contributed so many rocks to this monument, I'm sure Scotland can have one.
Anthony analysed the rock and discovered it had a unique date and composition.
This is an important one.
In the journal Nature, he says it could only have come from the far north of Scotland, here in the Orcadian Basin, which includes Caithness, Orkney and Moray Firth. So this is the altar stone at the heart of Stonehenge, now partially buried. It's one of the largest stones here at around 6 tons. The big question is how on earth it was transported from northeast Scotland and why the people back then thought it was so important to bring it all this way.
They must have been very technically advanced to be able to do that, to bring it down by boat, bring it down on sledges or whatever.
And presumably it wasn't just a matter of engineering. There must have been some sort of social cohesion for the Scots and the Welsh and the English all to work together.
Absolutely, to bring this to here, a sort of focus in a way at that time. There must have been linking between all of these areas.
So what does this say about Neolithic society in Britain?
Well, it certainly implies great social connections and sophistication. And I think what we've got to remember is these people were just like us in a way. They were just as clever, but they had different technologies. But to bring a stone of this size all the distance from what we now call Scotland is really quite something.
The new discovery has changed the story of Stonehenge and those that built it. The tale is now of a people across Great Britain who were more interconnected and advanced than previously thought, who came together to build this incredible monument. Palab Ghosh, BBC News, Stonehenge.
Was it just like different kingdoms meeting up. It was just a cool place for them to have their get-togethers ever so often or some shit. Between the whatever kingdoms existed in Wales and Scotland, 5,000 fucking years ago. I don't know the history. I guess I should, shouldn't I? What period is that? Who the fuck was even there at that time period? We don't have good records for that time, do we? Just one guy went up there and got the stone. Now I'm getting ready to tell you. It might be a controversial statement. This is a hot take. Are you guys ready for this? You're not ready for it? Is that what you're telling me? I don't think you are. I think many people in the chat will literally die. Pelicans cannot eat capybaras. Pelicans cannot eat capybaras. I know this because I have proof. It's trying its damnedest. Birds are real. That bird doesn't look real. That looks like something AI generated. What the fuck even is that thing? Push their throat through their mouth to cool that. That sounds stupid. Is its head sideways? It is, isn't it? It's cuter from the front. The capybara seems unbothered. That one wanted to run away. It was like, oh no, I don't want this thing to bite me. This one, he don't give a shit. What do pelicans eat? Don't they eat like little fish? Minnows and shit like that? A little lower, please. They eat plastic bottles. Yeah. Really, media winch. They're not piggy. They just shit. Well, clearly it's wanting to eat a capybara. It's a pretty thing, actually. Like its feathers are pretty. What's the animal beside the capybara? Across from it there. Is that a full grown one? Is that a bigger one? Oh, are we gonna have to eat a capybara now? I didn't realize they got that big. I didn't realize this was a baby. I thought that's the size they usually were. So is that the mommy and the daddy? Like the daddy's over there in the background with one of the other babies? No, that's cute when it gets older. Guller fluttering, where they keep their beaks open while fluttering the pouch beneath with each breath. Ew. Somebody needs to teach this pelican a lesson. How do you even get in the cage with the capybaras? It seems like a bully. Who let it in there? You said beaver. God, I've had the giggles all night. If you are watching on Twitch, it is time for the intellectual Dollar Tree. Let's expand our minds. Get galaxy brained. Go ahead and light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol. Live.